Hello everybody, it is GTS Drag here, otherwise known as Lewis. I'm trying a little bit of something different here today. As you can probably tell, I am not in the Mazda because it's not ridiculously loud and like that. What I'm doing today is I'm going to attempt to do a review of a car. The car in question is nothing special, but you know, it's a possible everyday commuter for some folks out there. It is a 2020 Vauxhall Crossland X Griffin. Very long-winded name, but yeah, I'm going to try and do a little bit of a review around it today. So first things first, let's get started with exterior design. My apologies, I don't know if you can see me, the sun is very bright. I am driving at the moment. Exterior wise, there's not much going on, I'm not gonna lie. It seems as though Vauxhall started well with the front end and then forgot to style the rest of it for some reason. So I'm not sure what's happened there. I don't know if maybe they gave up halfway through or something and thought it's gotta be a flop anyway, you know what I mean? Yeah, not sure about the exterior design. There are cool features on the design. I do like the titanium effect skid plate on the front, and I do quite like the rear lights. They're a nice shape. Not very bright though, I will add. They're not very bright lights at all, including the main beam as well. This is sort of like a living with type video because I've had this car now 3 weeks maybe, and I've done just over 5,000 miles in it in them 3 weeks. So I know pretty much everything about this car. So yeah, interior wise, it's sort of half and half. It's got reasonable space. The infotainment screen itself, as in everything on the screen, is okay. Very user friendly. It's very obvious what you're using, very obvious how to get things up on it, that sort of thing. The stereo is alright. That thing I can't complain about. The stereo is alright, but mainly it's just the quality inside here. Very Vauxhall, let's say. Very cheap plastic. But I don't know if you can hear that, but very scratchy plastics on the doors and down near the gear stick and on the main dashboard itself, which it's a bit of a shame, but I believe this car retails at about £15,500 ish to 20-ish. So it is a cheap car, so you can understand why it's made cheaply. But yeah, but that especially, the scratchy plastics, I personally feel there is no place for scratchy plastics in cars nowadays. I don't understand why so many manufacturers put them in. It's honestly horrible. You can't even have your arm on the window like that when you're driving because it's hard. So after 10 minutes or so, your elbow starts hurting. So yeah, I'd avoid anything with scratchy plastics normally. Staying with the interior, well, sort of. The air conditioning / heating. This is a little bit of a strange one. There seems to be no in-between in the temperature. It doesn't actually tell you what temperature you are setting it to. It's just a twisty knob with red and blue on it, right? So you put it to the blue and you assume, yeah, that'll be cold. No. As soon as it goes into the blue, it is Arctic, which you can probably hear the lane assist there. Very annoying system. I always have that turned off. Yeah, as soon as you go into the blue, it is Arctic, yet if you have it in the middle, it's absolutely sweltering hot. Explain that. And it doesn't make a difference whether the AC is on or off. It's either sweltering hot or Arctic conditions, basically. You can see myself currently, I'm wearing a t-shirt because I do have it on the Arctic conditions, because it is actually quite a warm day today. It's 12 degrees in the UK and pretty much winter. That's not bad. Moving on, let's get to what's next. Practicality. As I said earlier, it's quite big inside. There's room for, I'd say, 2 adults, 2 children quite easily, but 4 adults might be a struggle, especially with headroom. There's not much headroom here, and I have my seat all the way down. It's not a particularly comfy seat, I will say. Very bouncy, as you can see, but that might be down to the ride more than anything, which obviously I'll get to that later on as well. But yeah, you can sit 4 people. I'm not going to say 4 adults, because I don't think you could fit 4 adults in it comfortably. Boot space, the boot space is alright. It's nothing to write home about. You get your shopping in it easy enough, but not much else if you've already shopping in it, if you know what I mean. I wouldn't put a dog in the boot, let's say. You might get away with like a little Chihuahua or a Jack Russell or something, but I wouldn't say anything bigger than that, because it's really not very big. Sorry, I had a bit of a lump in my throat there. As you can see, this is just myself, no editing, no nothing like that. I'm not fully equipped to do that sort of stuff, and I'm driving also, so you get what you get, I'm afraid. Yes, I was saying about the practicality. It's alright. Practicality is 6 out of 10, let's say. It's okay, nothing to write home about, but it'll do. So next thing, I wanted to make a note actually on the fuel economy. Now, rather interestingly, Vauxhall states, like the manufacturer claims, that this car in extra urban, so motorway speeds, will do 62 mpg. I've got on the display after doing 5,000 miles 40.1 mpg, and I'm like I'm doing right now. I am sat at 70 on the motorway, just cruise control on, just relaxing. It would be slightly better if I weren't using cruise control, but not much of a difference, let's say. So that could be a bit of a letdown for a lot of people thinking of buying this car, buying it to drive around town, drop the kids off at school, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's not particularly good on fuel. This is the 1.2 litre turbo petrol. So obviously a diesel will be slightly better on the motorway for fuel economy. This one, I don't know if you can see down here. No, you can't. It is only a 5-speed. So the 5-speed is never going to be great at the motorway. At 70, it sits at 3,500 RPM. Bear in mind, it only revs to 6,500 RPM, so it's using over half of the rev range to sit at 70. Could do with another gearbox, so let's just put it that way. I'm going to move on to technology. Okay, so technology wise, it has a 5-inch infotainment screen with all your gallery, your phone, your settings, your music, all that sort of stuff. That's on that screen. The screen itself is okay. It's very small, and as you can see, sometimes very unresponsive to your inputs, let's say. It doesn't tend to do what it's told very often. But, you know, it's clear. When it works, it is easy to use. It tells you what everything is, you know, that sort of stuff. Visibility in the car, very good. I just thought I'd get that in there. That's nothing to do with the technology, but I just thought I'd get that in there. This particular one does have the blind spot indicators in the mirrors, because this is the Griffin X or something like that. It's Griffin. I know it's Griffin. I don't know if it's Griffin X or Crossland X, whatever they call it. But yeah, tech-wise, it's average. I'd say you get a lot of what is on this standard on modern cars, whereas on this, the blind spot illuminator and the lane departure warning is an optional extra. At a total bill of around £600, I think. So I would say well worth it. If you're doing a lot of mileage in the car, get them. Well worth it. Keeps you, you know, on your toes. Make sure you're not going to pull out into anyone and cause any damage. You know what I mean? Other than that, that's pretty much all the technology on it, I'm afraid. There's really not much on. It's got cruise control, this particular model. I'm pretty sure it's not a standard feature though. Electric windows, it does have that. That must be a factory fitted on every car now, surely. They can't still be producing cars with winder windows, I wouldn't have thought. But let's talk about the actual driving experience in the car, which I personally think is obviously the most important thing about buying a car. You want to know, is it good to drive? How is it going to perform over long journeys? That sort of stuff. So I will start with this. Just hang on, I'm just coming up to the slip road now, right? I am third gear, foot down, at 4,500 RPM. A lot of noise. 60 miles an hour. Change gear into fourth. A lot of noise. 70 miles an hour. Yeah, it's not fast, I'm afraid. It's certainly, to me, seems like possibly the slowest car I've ever driven. Vauxhall State, not 13 seconds, which in a modern car, that is frankly shocking. 13 seconds to 60. I mean, I'm pretty sure the original Mini was faster than that to 60. Probably not, but you know, it's just. But yeah, to drive, it's very disappointing, I will say. There's no go. The brakes, not confidence inspiring. Let's say you press it and you're waiting a bit of a while for you to get any feedback through the pedal, if you know what I mean. There's no, the pedal doesn't let you know whether or not you are pressing it, which can be a bit frightening, let's say. When you're going around some twisty roads, you're turning in, you're getting no feeling whatsoever through the steering wheel either. I believe it's because it's electronic power steering rather than on a hydraulic system. I'm not sure, that could be wrong, but yeah, the steering, as you can see, I'm 2 fingers on the wheel right now, wiggling it like mad, and it's doing absolutely nothing to the trajectory of the vehicle. And when you are turning at like 80 degrees, 90 degrees, trying to park it maybe, you can't feel anything behind the steering wheel. So the only way you know where that wheel is pointing is obviously if your wheels were centered and you've gone either side. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the driving experience isn't great. Another thing I will add, apart from the engine noise, there's a lot of wind noise and sometimes quite a lot of gearbox whine, which I really was not expecting that in a 2020 model car. With it did have 18,000 miles on it when I picked it up. It's currently on 23,500 miles, but obviously I have done all that mileage, so I've been living with this vehicle. Yeah, not great. And obviously I can't take the phone off the holder and show you this, but around the center screen for the sat nav, this is a bit of a more question on scratchy plastic quality, is there is like a black lacquer, I'll say, on the plastic, and it is all crinkled and creasing and peeling off on a 1-year-old car. Yeah, that's not great, Vauxhall. Not gonna lie, that's not great. Yeah, so my overall view on this car before this video gets a bit too long, I didn't want to make it, you know, half an hour. Just mainly because I don't have the editing stuff. I don't know how to do any of that, so I'm trying to keep it snappy, short, simple, if you know what I mean. So my overall view of this car, out of 10, it's got to be a 1, I'm afraid. It's bad on fuel, it's bad to drive, it's quite cramped if you've more than 2 people in it, like more than two adults and kids in the back. It's quite cramped. It's bad on fuel. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of road noise, a lot of engine noise, and yeah, it's just really, especially with the quality, just very badly put together, it seems. So I would say, personally, it is a 1 out of 10. Avoid, avoid, avoid. If you enjoy going to the shops, maybe you got to go to the shops, grab a pint of milk every other day, it'd do. It works, do you know what I mean? It works as a car, but as anything more than that, there's nothing there. So it's a 1 out of 10, I'm afraid, for myself. And that is pretty much going to conclude this short review. As I said, I didn't want to make it too long-winded or anything like that. I tried to keep it short and simple. But yeah, 1 out of 10 for the Crossland. If you folks did enjoy this video, I know it's only short and maybe a little long-winded for some of my viewers, may not enjoy it. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment, all that sort of stuff, and let me know in the comments if you want me to do more reviews on cars, because I have access to a fair few cars, as you know, that's what I use nowadays. I do have access to a lot of vehicles, sometimes some interesting stuff like a Maserati or like Golf GTIs, that sort of stuff, BMWs, all that. So I can give you living with reviews, so not just like what's it like to blast on a back road, that sort of thing, which I've done in the past, but I can give you an actual living with the car over a couple of weeks experience, and let you know if there's any issues or anything like that with the cars that I drive. But yeah, as I said, if you did enjoy the video, please feel free to press that like, comment, subscribe button, all that good stuff. But from me, that is all, folks. I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, folks. Bye bye.